Tonight, President Trump on the attack, going after his own attorney general. This evening, the president now saying, quote, time will tell whether Sessions survives. Our team right here with new reporting. How close is the president to firing his attorney general? The emotional return, Senator John McCain back on Capitol Hill after revealing the brain tumor. His pivotal vote on whether to move forward with the new effort to repeal Obamacare. The summer camp family tragedy tonight, the parents speaking out. A 5-year-old boy drowns. The new report tonight after a deadly train crash. A mother of 3 killed when she stops on the tracks. Several passengers on the train killed too, and now what we've learned. The dad with his family when they all notice an alleged drunk driver swerving in front of them, allegedly putting other drivers in danger. What happens when the family then attempts a citizen's arrest?
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a busy Tuesday night. And we begin with President Trump late today unleashing an attack on his own attorney general in front of cameras at the White House. A very rare and unusual attack right in the Rose Garden on his own pick for AG, one of President Trump's closest allies during the campaign. The president now furious after Jeff Sessions recused himself from the Russia investigation. Tonight, there's growing speculation. Is the president going to fire him, or is he applying extraordinary public pressure to get Jeff Sessions to resign? ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl leading us off.
Today in the Rose Garden, the president refused to say whether he would fire his attorney general.
I'm very disappointed with the attorney general, but we will see what happens. Time will tell. Time will tell.
The president is publicly seething over Jeff Sessions' decision to recuse himself from the Russia investigation. Today, he was asked why he is letting the attorney general twist in the wind.
Well, I don't think I am doing that. He should not have recused himself almost immediately after he took office. And if he was going to recuse himself, he should have told me prior to taking office, and I would have quite simply picked somebody else.
It's an incredible turn of events.
We need to make America great again.
Sessions was the first senator to endorse candidate Donald Trump, arguably the most important endorsement of his entire campaign. Trump spoke glowingly of him even before the endorsement.
We have a great politician here. We have a man here who really helped me, and he's the one person I sought his counsel because he's been so spot on. He's so highly respected. Has anybody ever heard of Senator Jeff Sessions?
Sessions became the first person Trump picked for his cabinet. In his confirmation hearing, he reassured senators he knew an attorney general had to be independent.
He or she must be willing to tell the president or other top officials if he or they overreach. He or she cannot be a mere rubber stamp.
But in March, when Sessions announced he was recusing himself from the Russia probe, White House aides say the president exploded in anger. And in May, following the appointment of special counsel Robert Mueller, the president exploded at Sessions again. The attorney general offered his resignation, but it was not accepted. Now the president's anger is boiling over again. He's called Sessions beleaguered. Today, tweeting Sessions has taken a very weak position on Hillary Clinton crimes. It's an odd attack for the president. Shortly after the inauguration, he told David he hoped for an end to the Clinton investigations.
Do you think America is done hearing about investigations into Hillary Clinton?
I just don't know. I mean, I hope so. And from my standpoint, we want to move on to the future.
While the president tweeted about Clinton this morning, today he made it clear he's still upset about the attorney general's decision to recuse himself from the Russia probe.
So I think that's a bad thing, not for the president, but for the presidency.
So let's get to John Karl live at the White House tonight. And John, what are your sources telling you? Is the president close to firing the attorney general, or is he simply trying to put pressure on him to resign here? What does the president really want?
It's unclear what the president really wants, but I'll tell you this, David. People very close to the president today believed that the president was on the verge of firing Sessions. One person who intervened was close Clinton friend and close Trump friend and advisor Newt Gingrich. He was at the White House today, and he urged him not to fire Sessions. Of course, the firing didn't happen, but Sessions afterwards, but Gingrich afterwards cautioned the story is not over.
All right, John Carl leading us off from the White House tonight. John, thank you. And as this was playing out at the White House, the drama across town on Capitol Hill, an emotional return by Senator John McCain after revealing the brain tumor. And today, the president needed Senator John McCain's vote to move forward with the newest debate over how to repeal Obamacare. It was not known how John McCain would vote or what he would say. And what he then delivered was a blistering warning to fellow senators to do their jobs. ABC's Mary Bruce back on the Hill for us tonight.
Senator John McCain today touched down in Washington just in time. Less than a week after being diagnosed with brain cancer, McCain swooping in to cast a critical vote on health care. His wife, Cindy, by his side, a scar visible above his left eye. On the Senate floor, McCain was welcomed back with a massive standing ovation. His colleagues there waiting. After 7 years of promises, months of planning, it was down to the wire. With McCain's help, Republicans narrowly voted to begin debate on health reform.
Mr. McCain, aye.
McCain cast his vote, and then he spoke his mind. For 15 minutes, he railed against the dysfunction in Washington.
Let's trust each other. Let's return to regular order. We're getting nothing done, my friends. We're getting nothing done.
It was classic John McCain, holding nothing back.
Stop listening to the bombastic loudmouths on the radio and television and the internet. To hell with them.
Today's vote to begin debate is an important step.
And the motion is agreed to.
But there's still a very long way to go before Republicans agree on a plan to repeal and replace Obamacare. McCain made it clear that what's on the table isn't good enough.
I will not vote for this bill as it is today. It's a shell of a bill right now. We all know that.
He's now urging Senate leaders to change their ways, for the parties to come up with a health care solution together. Do you plan to heed his advice?
Some issues are just more partisan than others. There's a lot of things that we have done and will continue to do on a bipartisan basis. Regretfully, the issue of health care has not fallen into that category on either side.
Mary Bruce with us live on the Hill tonight. Good to see John McCain back. And on this vote, the bottom line for people at home tonight, Mary, today's vote simply opens the door for a new debate now, whether to repeal only at first or whether to repeal and replace Obamacare together. And you said there are still questions whether they even have the votes if it gets that far.
David, now the real work begins. Republicans have agreed to debate, but now they are still struggling to come up with a health care bill that they can agree on, that can get enough Republican votes to fulfill this promise. And what that solution looks like tonight, it remains unclear. David?
Mary Bruce on the Hill for us as always. Mary, thank you. We do have one more developing headline out of Washington tonight. The House passing sweeping sanctions against Russia for meddling in the presidential election. The bipartisan measure would make it harder for President Trump now to ease sanctions against the Russian government. Sanctions also target Iran and North Korea. The bill now heads to the Senate. Next tonight here, the summer camp tragedy outside Atlanta. Authorities shutting down an unlicensed day camp following the drowning death of a 5-year-old boy. His parents now issuing a warning tonight. And ABC's Adrian Bankert from Georgia.
A mother and father's angry and heartbreaking cries for justice.
Their negligence killed my son.
Tonight, a summer camp shut down by state officials who say the camp was operating without a license when 5-year-old Benjamin Hosh died in their care.
They robbed us of his life, of his potential.
The boy's parents last saw their child alive Friday, dropping him off at Camp Cricket outside Atlanta. Police say Benjamin and 12 other children were on an outing at this nature preserve having lunch near a waterfall, then allowed to splash in the water. As they gathered to leave, the chaperones noticed Benjamin was missing. His parents say he couldn't swim.
My wife called me, said your boy's face down, unresponsive.
The Nature Center saying in a statement the child was found a short distance away in a pool of water in an area that had not been visited by the group. The Hash's lawyer says while Georgia does regulate summer camps, many states do not.
And it's something that needs to change. Someone will pay in this.
The family says they intend to sue everyone involved, and there could be criminal charges filed. David?
Adrian Bankert with us tonight. Adrian, thank you. There is a new report out this evening after a deadly train collision outside New York City. A mother of three was killed when she stopped on the tracks. Several passengers on that commuter train were also killed. Investigators now revealing what they've learned so far. And here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
Tonight, the search for answers about this deadly crash between a Metro North train and an SUV. More than 2 years after the fiery accident, federal investigators announced today they're still unable to determine why the driver stopped on the tracks.
I certainly don't believe that she thought she was on a railroad track.
Ellen Brody was in traffic, her car on the railroad tracks as the gate came down. The train was unable to stop in time. The engineer honked its horn and then applied the brakes.
The front car just exploded. People are jumping out of the train.
Nearly 350 feet of the electrified third rail pierced right through the front car, killing 5 passengers, and Brody, a mother of 3, also died. Today, investigators said the crash was extra deadly because that third rail didn't break away in a controlled manner. Investigators also determined the train engineer was not at fault and the warning system at the crossing worked properly. But the driver's husband is suing the engineer and rail.
It is the job of the signage to make sure that under all conditions, you know where you are.
This crossing is still operational, but there are plans to shut it down. David?
Lindsay Davis, thank you. Overseas tonight and to the new confrontation between the U.S. Navy and Iran. Navy video showing the USS Thunderbolt firing several warning shots there at an Iranian vessel in the Persian Gulf today. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard approaching at high speeds, coming within 150 yards of the American patrol ship. The Pentagon says the Thunderbolt was conducting routine operations in the region. Back here at home and to the frightening moments on the streets of Houston, a family in their car witnessing an alleged drunk driver in front of them, putting drivers and pedestrians at risk. That driver you can see here weaving across the road, running red lights, nearly hitting pedestrians. And what happens when the father in that car behind him moves in to conduct a citizen's arrest? Here's ABC's Clayton Sandell.
Oh, and he's driving really fast, man.
On the wrong side of the road.
Alejandro Fernandez knew something was wrong. When this white Mustang, already damaged in another crash, nearly hits him.
We decided to turn around, start following him.
Fernandez, headed to dinner Friday with his family, calls 911 but stays close, following the driver into this Houston parking lot.
Hey!
Trying to get away, the Mustang driver backs into a truck.
Stop it!
He's trapped. That's when Fernandez moves in to take the driver out.
Stop it, man!
Police don't recommend this sort of thing, but for Fernandez...
One of my best friends, he died because of a drunk driver, so I was thinking about that.
And according to court documents, this is that driver's 3rd arrest for driving under the influence. And this time, he's charged with a felony. David?
Clayton Sandell. Clayton, thank you. Now to the American company sparking a fierce debate across this country tonight. A business in Wisconsin implanting microchips in its employees, in the skin of their hands. So what are they tracking, and would you say yes if your boss asked you to do the same? Here's ABC's chief business correspondent, Rebecca Jarvis.
Tonight, science fiction about to come to life at Wisconsin company 3 Square Market.
What did the employees say when you brought this idea to them?
Half of them actually within 5 seconds says yes.
CEO Todd Westby, along with 50 employees, implanting microchips the size of a grain of rice between their forefingers and thumbs, allowing them to unlock doors at work, even pay for snacks with the swipe of a hand. There are some reservations.
There's always the fear of infection, so it's the unknown right now.
Another concern? Employee privacy.
What did it take to persuade the holdouts?
Basically, we had to explain to them there's no tracking of the information. It's not GPS or anything like that.
Participation is optional, and many of the employees here say they're more curious than nervous.
I think it's kind of cool. Just pop it up there and it'll work.
And our chief business and economics correspondent, Rebecca Jarvis, with us now. Rebecca, analysts are telling you this is not just this Wisconsin company. This is actually a debate about the future and where this could go from here.
Exactly, David. Industry experts forecast we could see these chips used by hospitals to store our medical records, even at airports to store that passport information. And that is just the beginning, David.
Right in our hands?
Right in our hands.
All right. I think I'll pass.
I think so in the future.
There's still much more ahead on World News Tonight. Thank you, Rebecca. Coming up here, the new development after that bride-to-be was shot dead by police after she called 911, what we've now learned in that case. Also ahead, the frightening chain reaction crash. Look at this. A Lowe's truck runs a red light, flipping over into the intersection. Then the passengers who witnessed the fight between a pilot and a flight attendant today, and then what happened. And the baby orc